One of the very common situations that you see in a divorce, obviously, is when there is children. Children make it a more difficult process because obviously you have to be very careful to affect the children as little as possible when you go through the divorce proceeding. That said, one of the common issues that comes up, obviously, is the issue of child support. Once you get past the custody determination, if one party is paying child support to the other, how is that determined? Well, first, what you do is you have to determine the income of both parties because child support in New York is calculated starting off on both parties' income. And so if your spouse is a W-2 earner, for example, they get paid by a corporation and they get a W-2 at the end of the year, somewhat simple to find out what their earnings are. However, if someone owns their own business and they're in control of how they receive funds as compensation because they control the business, then it becomes a little bit more tricky to see exactly what their income is. Other people have cash income and things of that nature, so it can be a little bit more problematic in just finding out what the income is. But once you establish what the income actually is of both parties, then what you do is you go through a formula, the Child Support Standards Act, and you come up with the presumptively correct amount of child support. That is for one child, 17% of your gross income minus Medicare and Social Security or FICA deductions, 25% for 2 children, 29% for 3 children, 31% for 4 children, and 35% of your salary for child support purposes for 5 children or more. This support, presumptively correct amount of support, can be changed by a variety of factors that are laid out in the statute, but for the most part, the presumptively correct amount is the amount the vast majority of people pay for child support. That amount can be paid on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, or whatever basis works for the parties. Usually, primarily, it's paid on either a weekly or monthly basis, and it can be paid directly from one spouse to the other, or it can be paid through what is called income deduction order, or through the Child Support Collection Services Unit, which are both automatic deductions from the person who's paying child supports, pay before they even see it. So child support can be quite simple in certain cases, and it can be quite complicated in others.